Update, the news show where everything is made up and the facts don't matter. Our first story tonight is the Google autonomous cars, better known as self-driving cars. First freehand car was named Steve Mahan. With us today is 16-year-old Heather, who's taking her driver's test tomorrow. Are you nervous?
Nope.
Really? Do you have any advice for other new drivers about how not to be nervous?
Just sit back, relax, and let Steve do the driving.
Steve is usually pretty helpful. Our second story of the night, the midterm elections were last week, and the Republicans got enough votes to take over both houses of Congress. Then when seats were from states that were previously hardcore Democrats, the Democrats in the House were quoted as saying, "Oh no, here they come, the Republicans with their morals and family values and all that." Many independents were quoted as saying that they were excited to see a new party do exactly the same things. You know, just with elephants in the color red. And another quote was taken from a Republican meeting in Washington, a pretty undercover meeting. John Boehner was quoted as saying, "Okay, everybody, now that we can get rid of the name Obamacare, we'll repackage it as TFTC care, or thanks for the cash care. These morons won't even know that we're charging them more for the same stuff." Our top story of the night is Ebola. Over the past few months, the entire world has been terrorized by the disease currently in 4 countries, the ever-scary Ebola. Most of the conversation here in America is centered around these 7 Americans who have contracted the disease because, you know, who really cares about the 7,000 Africans with the disease? You know, they're only human beings. It's not like we'll actually interact with them. As long as we keep them across the Atlantic, we'll be fine. Many people in America have been talking about Ebola. Donald Trump was quoted as saying, "If I get Ebola, then I'll bathe in my money and it will heal me." Former President George Bush was quoted as saying, "I can't get my computer to turn on. Probably has a virus. Maybe Ebola." Bush's computer was later revealed to be unplugged. In some lighter news on the Ebola front, a new website seeks to help Ebola patients find love in their final days. EbolaMingle.com is a new dating site available to those under quarantine with Ebola. To qualify, you have to go through many screenings to make sure you actually have the disease. Questions range from, "Do you have Ebola?" to, "Are you sure?" Once you've signed up, the site's complicated love algorithm will pair you up with the perfect guy or girl for you, provided that they also have Ebola. Once you're paired up, you two meet in a new quarantine location where you share an airtight 6x8 foot tent to spend the rest of your quarantine, or your rest of your talk about the new website is Ebola Mingle CEO Edward B. Olaf. Everybody welcome Edward.
Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, what was your inspiration for creating the website?
Well, I heard about all these people with Ebola, and I just wanted them to have some comfort in what could very well be their last days on Earth.
Really? Are you sure you don't have any ulterior motives here?
Actually, I must admit I may have a slight case of Ebola myself, and I just want not to be alone for once in my life.
Oh God, this guy has Ebola! Everybody run!